Welcome to the demo video for AP Literature and Composition. In 1865, writer Lewis Carroll used his title character, Alice, to pose a question that we all ask: who in the world am I? I have found that the AP Literature course gives students a solid foundation for college literature and writing, while also helping you understand some of the world's greatest writers and how they've attempted to answer this question: who am I? In this course, you'll learn about famous authors and noteworthy stories, novels, plays, and poetry, but you also will learn about yourself. My name is Jessie Hernandez. I've been a teacher for more than 20 years, and AP Literature is one of my favorite classes to teach. I love the puzzles that reading complex literature presents, and I love helping students solve those puzzles and become better writers. As a student, I pursued a bachelor's in English, a master's in teaching English, and because I also love art and art history, I got my PhD in media, art, and text from Virginia Commonwealth University. For the last 10 years, I have taught English 9 through 12, AP Literature, and AP Art History online. You will find that I am full of questions. I consider my job to help you learn to ask the right questions and then answer them yourself through reading and research. My classes are interactive, participatory, and I want my students to work together to discover things about themselves and about literature, rather than just listen to the answers from me. Throughout this demo, we are going to focus on one of the major themes in AP Literature: character. I'll be showing you how to begin to analyze literary characters through precise language. Here are some examples of good character words to describe me. Before we move on, take a moment to think about what kinds of words you might use to describe yourself. We'll be talking more about these three categories in a few minutes. Let's talk briefly about what AP Literature is, as well as what you will get in this course. A group called the College Board puts together a list of skills that they think first-year college students should have. When you take the full AP Literature and Composition course in school, you do the same kinds of assignments you would get in your first year of college. At the end of the year, you can take a 3-hour test with 55 multiple choice questions and 3 essay questions, and a passing score on the test can give you college credit. This course is designed to introduce you to the kind of reading and writing that you'll do in AP Literature and Composition, whether you're currently enrolled in the course or you think you might want to take it in the future. We can't give you a year's worth of college literature in a few weeks, but we'll touch on all the skills the College Board wants you to have, and you'll get a sampling of the same kinds of reading and writing assignments that a full AP Lit course includes. The AP Literature course is based on 6 big literary ideas: character, setting, structure, narration, figurative language, and literary argumentation. We'll work together to apply those skills to both well-known texts that we read and essays that we write. Since we're focusing our demo today on character, let's imagine that AP Literature is a literary character. How would we describe this character? Here's a picture from one of my favorite early photographers, Julia Margaret Cameron. I think if AP Literature were a character, it might look like this guy. Here are the adjectives I would use to describe him. Now let's elaborate on this idea of character. One of the most important elements of analyzing literature is being able to understand what authors intend with the characters they create. Characters in literature allow you to study and explore not just people, but a range of values, beliefs, assumptions, biases, and cultural norms represented by those characters. Authors use characters to show you the themes and lessons they want you to get from their work. Let's talk about how to formulate a thorough understanding of characters and identify the types of words used to describe them. One of the goals of this class is to help you build your vocabulary through the study of literature, and character is a great place to start with that. Because there are so many good words we can learn to describe characters, let's start with the word characterization. This is one of those fairly easy words because you already know the word character, which is typically a person or an animal in a story, book, novel, or play. Adding the suffix ation to a word makes it an action or a process. So characterization is the process a writer uses to tell the reader about the personality of a character. When you open up a novel or begin a short story and first encounter a character, you basically begin with a stick figure. You don't know anything about them at first. As you read, you'll start to see details about your character. This information is grouped into three main categories: physical, what the character looks like; emotional, how the character feels; and psychological, how the character thinks. As you learn about each of these, you round out the stick figure into someone you understand and can write about to explain the author's ideas and themes. In order to fully describe the physical, emotional, and psychological aspects of a character, you need to have a good bank of adjectives. This chart is just a small sampling of words, but take a minute to look over them. While you may not know all of them, there are some things to notice. These are largely familiar words, while there are some big fancy words to describe characters, like supercilious, which means arrogant, or sesquipedalian, which means long-winded. Those are not the kinds of adjectives you need to do well in AP literature. What you want to learn are words that help you be precise. Precision is one of the most important aspects of writing, not just for AP exams, but for life. If you use only big, sophisticated words, people won't understand you. Instead, you want to use words that are understood by all, but words that are specific and that really help your reader see your point of view. For example, you might want to tell your reader that a character is thin. What if you instead used the word emaciated, which means abnormally thin or weak, especially because of an illness or a lack of food? Instead of just seeing a thin stick figure, you see a person who has reached the point of being unhealthy, a person who has gone through something very difficult in life. All right, let's do a practice exercise to help you see how this concept works. First, I want you to think of a well-known character. Some good ones might be Superman or Harry Potter, or a character from a movie or show that you know well, or you can use a friend or family member if you'd rather. Go ahead and write that person's name down like this. I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet, the words that you looked at in the last slide. Then I want you to pause the video for a minute or two so you can fill in different adjectives surrounding this character that describe them. You can use words from the list or choose your own, but try to find words to address all three aspects of characterization. Once you're done with that, unpause the video and we'll continue. So here's my quick example of what this might look like. I chose Batman. Think about how I could take this list of adjectives and turn them into a really detailed paragraph about who this person is as a character. It's a great way to build your writing to practice this with every character you encounter. As you look at your own list, think about the words that you chose. There are a few things that you want to look out for. How many words did you use? When your teacher asks you about characterization, the goal is not to come up with the one word that perfectly fits a character. Characters, like people, are complex and take lots of words to describe. Be sure you include all three aspects of characterization. While you may not know a character well enough to say everything about them, you want to try to get at least a couple of words for each category so that you get a well-rounded picture of that character. And finally, know what your words mean and be on the lookout for synonyms. These are words that essentially mean the same thing. If we said that Batman was mysterious, cryptic, curious, and puzzling, we'd be right, but we just said basically the same thing 4 times. Remember that your goal is a well-rounded description, and with these words, you've only addressed one aspect of the character. But where do these adjectives come from? Do you always have to make them up? Do you have to sit down with a dictionary? You could, but largely you build your writing vocabulary through reading, which is why this course is called AP Literature and Composition. You read, then you write about what you learned from your reading. Most of the time, the words you need are already there in the books you read. Notice this sample here from a short story by Alice Walker called Everyday Use. We're getting here our first glimpse of a character named Maggie, as described by the story's narrator, one of her sisters. Notice all the words you could pull from here to add to a characterization chart. And as you read, you can decide which of the 3 categories they belong to. Sometimes you'll want them in more than one category, and that's okay. You can use words throughout the 3 aspects as long as you're thinking about all 3 aspects. As you read, you can always put in more words on a character chart that helps you describe them later. Sometimes the words will be directly stated. Other times they'll just be hinted at. Characterization can be direct, where the author tells you exactly what the character is like, as shown here in blue or pink. Or it can be indirect, where you learn about the character through their words, actions, or thoughts, as well as other characters' responses to that character. That's what the green shows us here. While the green part doesn't provide adjectives to add to our list, after reading what the narrator says she thinks, we might add jealous or resentful to the list, even though that's not stated directly in the text. So what should you take away from this lesson? Really, it's 2 big questions that you should always ask when you approach a character in literature. How might this character be described physically, emotionally, and psychologically? And what words can I use to describe this character? You can consider here the information the author provides to you directly, as well as what you can gather from narration, other characters, and what that character says and does. Now let's go back to the College Board's AP Literature skills quickly, just to remind you why this is important. Note all the things here you can learn that go beyond just a character description. Not only is that important to studying literature and writing, but understanding people in general relies on these same skills. In this class, you'll learn not only about characters, but how the setting, structure, narration, and figurative language in literature helps us figure out what writers want us to take away from their writing. You'll then apply these skills to your own literary arguments that can show your understanding of what you read and help you get a good score on the AP test. So to return to our descriptive adjective exercise, let's pretend that the Knovva Academy AP Literature course is a character. This is how I would describe him. Physically, I'd say round. Although the course is relatively short, you'll get a clear and well-developed picture of all the skills you need to be successful in AP Literature and Composition. Emotionally, this course is helpful. The class will help you become a better reader and writer, whether or not you're taking a full AP Literature course elsewhere. And psychologically, this course is adventurous. The course is designed to give you a short, exciting adventure into the world of literature and writing. We will travel quickly through the College Board's big ideas and required skills, and you'll get an exciting sampling of some of the greatest works ever written in English. Thank you so much for watching the demo, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in class. If you have any questions or need more information, you can contact Yushi at the address here or visit knovvaacademy.com.